أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، شفيع المذنبين وخاتم النبيين، نبينا وشفينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد. وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم لعن أول ظالم ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد، وآخر تابع له على ذلك. اللهم لعن الإسابة التي جاهدت الحسين وشايعت وبايعت وتابعت على قتله. اللهم لعنهم جميعا. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله لآخر لحن مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمسابنا بأبي عبد الله الحسين عليه الصلاة والسلام. It is the day of Arbaeen, and of course on this day we normally would just recite the Masa'ib of the Ahlul Bayt. But before I come to the Masa'ib of the Ahlul Bayt, I just wanted to have a very short message that I want to impart to this community. It will be very short because we want to take the time to weep and mourn on Abu Abdullah on this day, to weep and mourn on the Ahlul Bayt on this day. But in so doing, we need to understand that the tears that we have shed over the last couple of months, that the azar that we have performed over the last few weeks, the gatherings that we have had on the majalis of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, the matam that we have done in commemoration of the sacrifice of Karbala, the tears that we have wept for the Ahlul Bayt and the atrocities that had befallen them on the fields of Karbala and afterwards. Today is the day that we need to reflect and make sure that all this efforts that we put in over the last 2 months or so, over the last 40 days, that these efforts that we have put in have actually resulted in a transformation of the hearts of the believers. The purpose of Muharram is not to cry on Imam Hussein. The purpose of Muharram is not to lament on Imam Hussein. The purpose of Muharram is not to do the azar of Imam Hussein. The purpose of Muharram is not to do the matam of Imam Hussein. That is not a purpose. The purpose of Muharram is to transform ourselves. To transform ourselves to become better people. To transform ourselves to become better in our character. The azar of Abu Abdullah, the weeping of Abu Abdullah, the mourning for Abu Abdullah, The matam that we perform for Abu Abdullah is a means to achieve the transformation of our hearts to become better people. That's the purpose. And at this day, which is the day of Arbaeen, as we come to the closure of this time when we mourn for the tragedy and the atrocities of Abu Abdullah, we really need for a minute to go into our homes and reflect upon ourselves to say that when the first Muharram moon was sighted, until today, the day of Arbaeen, am I a different person or not? Has there been a change? It would be very sad if we were to commemorate the day today and leave this particular place today, and from tomorrow, if we were exactly the same person that we were when that moon was sighted on the first night of Muharram. That would be a tragedy. That is not something that Abu Abdullah would be happy for us. You know, if you look at the amal that you perform on the day of Ashura, right? Everybody here, I'm sure, performed the amal, did you not? On the day of Ashura. You will see that one of the articles of that amal, one of the things that you perform in that amal, is you move forward 7 times and you retreat back 7 times, yes? And you recite, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, ridhan bi qada'ihi wa tasliman li amri. And this particular amal that you perform, have we ever reflected, why do we perform this amal? This amal, of course, that we perform is the sunnah of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. It is the sunnah of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein on the day of Ashura, when his 6-month-old baby was slaughtered by the arrow of Hurmala. He moves towards the camp 7 times, towards the tent 7 times, saying, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And he retreats back, holding Ali Asghar, the 6-month-old baby, in his hands. He retreats back 7 times. But there are so many things that happened on the day of Karbala. So many events that happened on the day of Karbala. So many things that Abu Abdullah did on that day of Karbala. Why have the Imams chosen this particular amal for the amal of Ashura? Why this one? Why not something else? And there is a symbolic meaning to this. The symbolic meaning is that as Abu Abdullah is moving forward, he is saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I am presenting to you my sacrifice that I have done on this particular day. The sacrifice of my 6-month-old baby. Aitamtu iyali likay arak, Imam says. Oh Allah, I have orphaned my children so that I may be able to come and see you. And even if they were to cut me into pieces, irban irba, my heart would not yearn for anyone other than you. The symbolic meaning of this is that as Imam has presented his sacrifice to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the challenge for us is, what is our sacrifice? What has our sacrifice been in this 40 days in Muharram? Who is my Ali Asghar? What am I prepared to sacrifice? If you have committed a sin, or you continue to commit a certain sin, then the sacrifice has to be a commitment on this day that, O Abu Abdullah, because of your sacrifice, I will not commit that sin anymore. That's Aza of Abu Abdullah. That is true Aza. Or if you have not performed a wajibat, if you are not in the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then the sacrifice that we have to make to ourselves is to say, Oh Abu Abdullah, we have not performed, I have been remiss in performing some of the wajibat that I have been in the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I am now committing that from now on I will perform it. That is Aza of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. And so I want to remind you that don't let this day just go. Don't let it just pass. Reflect a little bit. Make a resolve, make a commitment to yourself. Think about it and say, what can I do to be a different person after this Muharram? What commitment can I make? It is because of this, that the Imam, made this great sacrifice of Karbala, right? I call it the 4 R's. Resignation to the will of Allah. Resistance towards the evil of Yazid. Reformation of the society and the global community. And a revolution to awaken the heart and the spirit within the essence of the human being. That is Abu Abdullah's sacrifice. I want to say one word about la'an, because I've been asked about this concept. There is no compromise in our mazhab when it comes to Sayyid al-Shuhada. For Sayyid al-Shuhada, for Imam Hussein alayhi salam, we do not compromise. And there are many people, and I get surprised sometimes when I hear some people who hesitate, in declaring their abhorrence towards the murderers of the Ahlul Bayt. We just recited today Ziyarat of Arbaeen, right? And you will see in Ziyarat of Arbaeen, there was a la'an in that ziyarah. You recite Ziyarat Ashura, there is la'an in that ziyarah. And, there is a lot of people, even on the 21st night, for example, of Shahrul Ramadan, that tasbih of la'an, Allahumma la'an qatalata amirul mu'minin, they don't want to recite. And when we ask them, they will say, it's not digestible for me. I can't make myself do it. In Ziyarah, I don't recite Ziyarat Ashura because I don't agree with this concept of la'an. They say, why should we do this? Just talk about the good things that Imam Hussein did and leave the rest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The problem is that we have not understood the concept of la'an. That is the problem. The simple translation, which probably in my mind is one of the worst translations we could have of la'an, is to curse. We curse this person, right? And it completely is misconceived, right? It's a complete misconception about this, especially amongst the youth, right? We think of the curse as a profanity. In Urdu we call it gali dena, right? We think of it, when you say, I am cursing Umar ibn Sa'ad, or I'm cursing Yazid, we think of it as if we are giving a profanity, right? We are doing, we are abusing. It's an abuse, gali dena, right? That's what we think about it. That's far from the truth. That's not what la'an is. La'an is not that. Uttering obscenity is not la'an. Uttering obscenity, actually, a curse like that in Arabic is called sab, not la'an. And sab is forbidden by our imams. It's forbidden. In fact, there is a hadith, you'll see an event. Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, in the Battle of Siffin, he was walking and he heard some of his own companions doing profanities and cursing Muawiyah and his army. And Amir al-Mu'mineen stopped them and said, don't do this. You're not allowed to do this. Against Muawiyah. He says, you're not allowed to do this. So la'an is not cursing. It's not giving obscenities. La'an, to understand la'an, is very simple. You always appeal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? In our du'as, we always appeal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We say to Him that shower your grace and mercy upon us. Yes? That's our du'as. You'll see most of our du'as, we say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, shower your grace and mercy upon us. La'an is doing dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that these killers of the Ahlul Bayt, take away your special mercy from the killers of Ahlul Bayt. That is la'an. It is a dua. It is nothing but a dua. You are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah is Rahman and Allah is Rahim. Yes? Rahman is His all-encompassing mercy. It's for everybody. It's for every creature. He gives you air to breathe. He gives you oxygen to breathe. It's His mercy. It's His Rahmaniyat. He has given you eyes so that you can see. It's His Rahmaniyat. Everything that we have, all the things that we enjoy are the Rahmaniyat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's for all His creation. It's for all His creation. But He is also Rahim. He has His special mercy that He has reserved for special people. And we are saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, take away that special mercy from these people who killed the Ahlul Bayt. This is the most important thing that we have to understand. Think of la'an in the form of doing a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, take that mercy away from these people. That's all la'an is. It's not a curse or an obscenity. You cannot think, this is Islam. When you're looking at Islam, you stand up against oppression in Islam. You don't turn away from it. You stand up against it. This is the message of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. He stood up against oppression. You cannot cry on Imam Hussein. You cannot do matam on Imam Hussein and then say, okay, but I don't want to say anything for the other side. Leave that to Allah. It's not the way it is. You have to make a commitment, as far as this is concerned, right? When you look at, for example, if you look at the event of Ghadir. In Ghadir, after the Holy Prophet said, Man kuntu mawla fahada aliyun mawla, he does a dua after he announces the Khilafat of Imam Ali alayhi salam. He does a dua, and in his dua he says, Allahumma wali man walahum. O Allah, be the friend of the one who is the friend of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Then he says, Wansur man nasara. He says, O Allah, help the one who helps Ali ibn Abi Talib. But after saying that, he says, Wakhzul man khazala. He says, O Allah, forsake the one who has forsaken Ali ibn Abi Talib. It's a package. You have to have the commitment to tawalla, but you also have to have the commitment to tabarra. Right? Islam is tawalla and tabarra. It's not just tawalla. You have to stand up against it. One of the other most important things about la'an is when we do la'an, we are dissociating ourselves from the values and principles of the person that you're doing la'an on. That is the other meaning of la'an. You are saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that dissociate myself from these people. Dissociate me. When you do mercy, right, when you ask for mercy, when you do tawalla, you are saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, associate me with these great exalted personalities like the Ahlul Bayt. But then when you do tabarra, you are saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, dissociate me from these peoples and their values. Right? So be careful when you do la'an. Be careful that you are not doing la'an to yourselves. Because when you say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, dissociate me from these people and their values. Why? Because they were oppressors. Make sure you are not an oppressor. Make sure you do not oppress, other people. Make sure that in your family you are not oppressing, your family members. Because otherwise that land's going to bounce back to you. It's going to come back to you. Right? If you are, asking Allah to dissociate yourself from these people, right? Because they were cheating other people. They were murdering other people. They were oppressing other people. Make sure that those values are not found in you. It's a commitment where you're saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, dissociate me from this. This is very important to understand, my friends. When it comes to Sayyid al-Shuhada, we do not compromise. There is no compromise with Sayyid al-Shuhada. For everything else, yes. We will see what the geopolitical realities are and so on and so forth. And we will do what needs to be done. But when it comes to Aba Abdullah al-Hussein, we do not sacrifice. Not our values. And that's what we have to understand. You look at there are so many, I can give you hadith after hadith, ayats of Quran after Quran, ayats of Quran within the Quran, so many ayats about la'an. And I don't want to get into this because I really want to focus on the Masa'ib today. But I just want you to give you one example. Right? If you look at Sahih Bukhari, for example, volume 5, page 41 of Sahih Bukhari. The Prophet in his kunut of his salat, right? He used to do la'an in the kunut of his salat. It's not an alien concept. Seriously, it's not. It's something that we need to understand. And it's unfortunate that it has been translated in a way like cursing, and people get turned off by that. Because, we say curse and curse and curse. It has only really two meanings. One is you're saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, take away your special mercy from this person. And the second thing that you're saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, dissociate me from these people and their values. I don't want to be like them. I don't want to be part of them. Dissociate me from that. That's the meaning of la'an. And I wanted to just clarify that because people have asked me about la'an, and there are people who are a little bit hesitant in doing that. I hope this has clarified the issue. Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. It is the day of Arbaeen. And let's take our hearts today to Bainul Haramain. Let's take ourselves to the Zari of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. Wallahi, how lucky are those people today who are in Karbala and who are doing the ziyarah of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. The day of Arbaeen, as we mentioned last night, it's the day when this kafila, when this caravan had come back to Karbala. When this Imam and the kafila, Imam al-Sajjad and the kafila returned to Karbala, all the women started to cry on the graves of their loved ones. And you would see Janab Zainab, she would run from one particular grave to another grave. The historians write. She runs from one grave to another grave. She would sometimes cry on the grave of Hazrat Qasim. Sometimes she would console Farwa. And then she would go and cry and console Kulsum, who was crying on the grave of Ali ibn al-Akbar. She would go from place to place. But when Janab Zainab comes to the grave of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein, She hugs the grave of Abu Abdullah and she starts to cry with her on the grave of Abu Abdullah for a very long time. And she says to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, "Oh my brother Abu Abdullah, Zainab is embarrassed today for the responsibility that you had given to Zainab to look after your 4-year-old daughter Ruqayya. Zainab has not been able to look after her. For Ruqayya has been taken away from us in the Zindan of Sham. Sakina has been taken away from us in the Zindan of Sham." So Zainab is embarrassed. The women folk cried on the graves for 3 days. For 3 days they cried. Imam Sajjad now says to the women folk that it is time for us now to go back to Medina. And the women folk gather and they go and get ready to go towards Medina. When Saniya Zahra ensured that all the ladies had mounted the camels, she saw that there was one camel that was still empty. She saw that there was one camel that was still empty. She came to Imam Sajjad and she said, "Oh my son Sajjad, we are missing one lady. We are missing one lady." And Janab Zainab went back towards the grave. And as she went back towards the grave, she saw one lady, Rabab, who was still sitting at the grave of Abu Abdullah and at the grave of Ali al-Asghar. Janab Zainab said to Rabab, "Oh Rabab, it is time for us to go back to Medina." And Rabab said to Janab Zainab, "Oh Saniya Zahra, leave me here at the grave of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, for I have now no reason to return back to Medina. I have lost my 6-month-old baby Ali Asghar. I have lost my young child Sakina in the Zindan of Sham, and I have lost my Abu Abdullah in the fields of Karbala. What am I going to do and come back to Medina?" Janab Zainab consoled Rabab and she said to Rabab, "Rabab, come back with us to Medina." The caravan makes its way back towards Medina. When the caravan gets outside of Medina, Imam Sajjad asks that the tents be put up at the border of Medina. The tents were put up at the border of Medina. And then he says to Bashir, he says, "Oh Bashir, now go to Medina and give the news to the Ahlul Bayt, give the news to the people that the Ahlul Bayt of the Prophet has returned and that Hussein and his family and his companions have been martyred and slaughtered in the fields of Karbala, and the children and the women have returned back to Medina." Bashir goes into Medina and he starts to make the announcement, "Oh people of Medina, Medina is now not worth living in. For Hussein and his family and his companions have been brutally slaughtered in the fields of Karbala. And the women folk have returned and they are waiting at the border of Medina." People started to leave their houses and they started to leave their businesses and they gathered outside the mosque of the Holy Prophet. Now Bashir goes into the locality which is the locality of Banu Hashim. He makes the same announcement in the locality of Banu Hashim that Abu Abdullah al-Hussein has been martyred. An 8-year-old boy comes out of a house holding the hand of her old grandmother, and he comes out of the house and he holds the hand of her old grandmother. He embraces the horse of Bashir and he says to Bashir, "Oh Sheikh, I have a question for you." And Bashir looks at this 8-year-old boy and he says, "Son, what is your question?" At that time, that young boy says to Bashir, "Oh Bashir, my grandmother is asking, what is happened to Abbas? Where is my Abbas?" When Bashir hears this, he says, "Tell your grandmother that Abbas was also murdered in the fields of Karbala. Karbala. When Baneen hears this, she comes to Bashir and says, "Oh Bashir, this is what I wanted to hear, that my Abbas has been murdered and sacrificed in Karbala, for I would not have been able to bear that Aba Abdullah al-Hussein would have been martyred and my Abbas would have remained alive." Azadaran Hussein. At that time, Janab Zainab now and the Qafila enter Medina. Janab Zainab and the Qafila enter Medina, and Janab Zainab now comes to the grave of the Holy Prophet in Masjid al-Nabawi. Allahu Akbar. Janab Zainab comes into the grave of the Holy Prophet in Masjid al-Nabawi. She sits by the grave and she says, "Assalamu alayka ya Jadda." Oh my grandfather, Holy Prophet, Zainab has returned, but I want to let you know that the Zainab that left Medina and the Zainab that has returned back to Medina, these are two different people. For the Holy Prophet, we have been completely sacrificed in the fields of Karbala. And then Zainab takes from underneath her chadar, she takes out one small shirt, a small shirt she takes out. And she takes out the shirt and she puts it on the grave of the Holy Prophet. And she says to the Holy Prophet, "Ya Rasulullah, this shirt belongs to your grandchild Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. I have brought this shirt back for you. Oh my grandfather, when I come back alone, I will be able to tell you what atrocity befell us, the Ahlul Bayt, from your own ummah, as we were taken from Karbala to Kufa, and we were taken from Kufa to Sham." Azadaran Hussein, اب زینب آئی ہے، اپنی ماں کی قبر پر آئی ہے، بیٹی ہے، بیٹی ماں کی قبر پر آتی ہے، زینب بیٹی ہے، ماں کی قبر پر آتی ہے۔ ایک مرتبہ زینب نے کہا، "اماں میں لٹ گئی، اماں میں لٹ گئی، حسین شہید ہو گئے، ماں میں نہیں جانتا اور میں نے کہیں بھی نہیں پڑھا ہے مقتل میں کہ زینب نے ماں کے ساتھ کیا گفتگو کی، مجھے کہیں نہیں ملا ہے کہ زینب نے ماں کے ساتھ کیا گفتگو کی۔ آپ سوچتے ہوگے کہ شاید زینب نے قاسم کے زخمی لاش کے بارے میں بتایا ہوگا، یا پھر زینب نے ماں سے کہا ہوگا کہ ماں جائے حسین نے علی اکبر کے سینے سے برچی کے پھل کو کیسے نکالا ہے، یا پھر شاید زینب نے یہ ماں سے بتایا ہوگا کہ علی اصغر کے گلے سے ابا عبداللہ الحسین نے حرملہ کے تیر کو کیسے نکالا ہوگا، یا پھر شاید آپ یہ سوچتے ہوگے کہ یا شاید زینب نے ماں سے یہ کہا ہوگا کہ ماں جائے حسین کی لاش گھوڑوں کے ٹاپوں سے کیسے پامال ہوئی ہوگی۔ یہ سب ممکن ہے، لیکن میرا دل کہتا ہے کہ زینب نے کوئی شکایت نہ کی ہوگی، بس شاید زینب نے ایک جملہ اپنی ماں سے کہا ہوگا۔ زینب نے شاید یہ کہا ہوگا کہ اماں زینب لٹ کے آئی ہے، اماں ان لعینوں نے ہمارے خیمے کو جلایا ہے، ان لعینوں نے شمر نے آپ کی بیٹی کے سر سے نیزے کے نوک سے اپنی چادر کو چھینا ہے۔ شاید یہ جناب زینب نے کہا ہوگا، اور جناب زینب نے بتایا ہوگا کہ کوفہ اور شام کے دربار میں سیدانیہ کیسے بے مکنا و چادر پھرائی گئی ہے۔ عزادارو، زینب نے اپنی ماں سے کہا، ماں جب اکیلی آؤں گی تو رسیوں کے وہ نشان دکھاؤں گی اور تازیانوں کے نشان دکھاؤں گی۔ عزاداران حسین، آخری مصائب پڑھ رہا ہوں۔ عزاداران حسین، اب زینب مدینہ آ گئی ہے، زینب بیٹھی ہے، زینب مدینہ کے زینب مسجد نبوی کے باہر بیٹھی ہے۔ ام البنین آگے آتی ہے اور ام البنین زینب کے قریب بیٹھ جاتی ہے، ام البنین زینب کے قریب بیٹھ جاتی ہے۔ پھر ام البنین نے جناب زینب سے ایک سوال کیا ہے۔ اللہ اکبر۔ ام البنین نے، مورخ لکھتے ہیں کہ ام البنین نے جناب زینب سے سوال کیا، کہتی ہے ثانی زہرا میں سننا چاہتی ہوں کہ میرا عباس کیسے شہید ہوا، میں سننا چاہتی ہوں کہ میرا عباس کیسے شہید ہوا۔ عزادارو اب زینب ذاکری کر رہی ہے، ام البنین عزادار ہے، زینب ذاکری کر رہی ہے، ام البنین عزادار ہے۔ ایک مرتبہ زینب نے کہا کہ اماں عباس نہر فرات پانی لینے کے لیے چلے، ام البنین رو رہی ہے۔ پھر زینب نے کہا اماں عباس نے نہر فرات سے مشکی سکینہ کو پانی سے بھرا، ام البنین رو رہی ہے۔ پھر زینب نے کہا اماں عباس گھوڑے پہ سوار ہوئے، مشک سکینہ کو لے کے واپس خیمہ گاہ کی طرف آ رہے تھے، ام البنین رو رہی ہے۔ پھر جناب زینب نے کہا اماں پھر ایک وقت ایسا آتا ہے کہ حرملہ نے 2 تیر کا وار کیا ہے، حرملہ نے 2 تیر کا وار کیا ہے، 2 تیر کا وار کیا ہے، ایک تیر جو ہے مشک سکینہ میں پیوست ہوا، ایک تیر جو ہے عباس کی آنکھ میں پیوست ہوا۔ ام البنین رو رہی ہے، مشک سکینہ سے پانی بہنے لگا، آنکھ سے خون بہنے لگا، اب ام البنین رو رہی ہے۔ پھر زینب نے کہا اماں ایسا وقت آتا ہے کہ کسی نے عباس کے دائیں بائیں ہاتھ کو شہید کیا، ام البنین رو رہی ہے۔ پھر زینب نے کہا کسی نے عباس کے بائیں ہاتھ کو شہید کیا، ام البنین رو رہی ہے۔ پھر زینب کہتی اماں پھر ایک لعین نے آ کے عباس کے سر پہ وار کیا تلوار کا، عباس گھوڑے سے زمین پہ گرے۔ جب زینب نے یہ کہا ہے، ام البنین چیخ کے کہتی ہے ثانی زہرا اب آگے کچھ مت کہنا، میں اور کچھ نہیں سننا چاہتی۔ جناب زینب نے کہا اماں کیا بات ہے؟ جناب ام البنین کہتی ہے ثانی زہرا میں صرف یہ سننا چاہتی ہوں کہ جب کوئی شہید گھوڑے سے زمین پہ گرتا ہے تو اپنے دونوں ہاتھوں کا سہارا لیتا ہے۔ ہائے میرا عباس گھوڑے سے زمین پہ کیسے گرا ہوگا، یہ سننا تھا۔ زینب نے کہا اماں عباس گھوڑے سے زمین پہ ویسے ہی گرا ہے جیسے زینب اونٹ سے گری ہے، عباس کے دونوں ہاتھ شہید ہے، عباس منہ کے بل گرا ہے اور زینب کے دونوں ہاتھ پسے گردن بندھے ہوئے تھے۔ زینب جب اونٹ سے گری ہے تو زینب بھی منہ کے بل گری ہے۔ عزاداران حسین اب زینب ایک مرتبہ جب زینب نے یہ بات کہی ہے ام البنین سے، اب عزادارو زینب ایک مرتبہ اپنے گھر کی طرف آتی ہے۔ اپنے گھر کی طرف جب آتی ہے زینب نے اپنے گھر کے دروازے کا دق الباب کیا، دروازے کو کھٹکھٹایا، عبداللہ بن جعفر طیار نے دروازے کو کھولا۔ ایک مرتبہ جب عبداللہ بن جعفر طیار نے جناب زینب کے شوہر نے دروازے کو کھولا ہے، زینب کو دیکھا۔ ایک مرتبہ عبداللہ کہتی ہے بی بی کیا چاہتی ہو اور کیا لینے آئی ہو؟ زینب نے عبداللہ کو کہا کہ عبداللہ زینب کو نہ پہچانا، زینب کو نہ پہچانا۔ عزاداروں اب زینب اپنے گھر کے اندر آتی ہے، یہ وہی زینب ہے جس کے بارے میں امام سجاد نے کہا ہے کہ یہ وہ میری پھوپھی ہے کہ میں نے میری پھوپھی کو کبھی بھی اپنے بیٹوں پہ روتے ہوئے نہیں دیکھا۔ اگر زینب نے کبھی رویا، اب زینب کبھی روئی ہے تو علی اکبر کے لاش پہ روئی ہے، اما جائے حسین پہ روئی ہے، ابو الفضل عباس پہ روئی ہے، علی اصغر پہ روئی ہے، حضرت قاسم پہ روئی ہے۔ زینب نے کبھی اون و محمد کو یاد نہیں کیا تھا۔ زینب نے یہ وعدہ کیا تھا کہ اگر میں روؤں گی تو حسین کو روؤں گی، اکبر کو روؤں گی، اصغر کو روؤں گی۔ لیکن جب اب زینب اپنے گھر پہ داخل ہوتی ہے، ایک مرتبہ زینب نے دیکھا ایک کونے میں ایک چھوٹا سا کمرہ ہے اور اس چھوٹے کمرے میں 2 چھوٹے چھوٹے بستر ہیں۔ جب جو چھوٹے چھوٹے بستر دیکھے اور پھر زینب نے دیکھا کہ زمین پہ 2 چھوٹے مسلے بچھے ہوئے تھے، جب زینب نے دو مسلح کو دیکھا اب ماں کا دل تڑپ گیا. ایک مرتبہ اور محمد کی یاد آ گئی. زینب زمین پہ گر گئی, کہتی ہے واہ اونا واہ محمدہ, ہائے میرا اون, ہائے میرا محمد. ماتم حسین